Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajakachayostatara Shatta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Haribo Hare Krishna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4, Text number 37. Nyasta Kridanako Balo Jadavattan Manastaya Krishna Graha Grihitatma Naveda Jagadidrusham Nyasta Kridanako Balo Jadavattan Manastaya Krishna Graha Grihitatma Naveda Jagadidrusham Nyastakridanako Balo Jadavattan Manastaya Krishna Graha Grihitatma Navida Jagadidrusham Ladies, Shabdart. Nyasta, having given up. Kridanakaha, all sportive activities or tendencies for childhood play. Balaha, a boy. Jardavat, as if dull without activities. Tat manastaya, by being fully absorbed in Krishna. Krishna graha, by Krishna, who is like a strong influence, like a graha or a planetary influence. Grihita atma, whose mind was fully attracted. Na, not. Veda, understood. Jagat, the entire material world. Idrusham, like this. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. From the very beginning of his childhood, Prahlada Maharaja was uninterested in childish playthings. Indeed, he gave them up altogether and remained silent and dull, being fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Since his mind was always affected by Krishna consciousness, he cannot understand how the world goes on, being fully absorbed in the activities of sense gratification. Purport. Prahlada Maharaj is the vivid example of a great person fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 8, text 274, it is said, Stavara Jangama Deki, Na Deki Taramurti, Sarvatra Haya Nija Ishta Deva Spurti. A fully Krishna conscious person, although situated in this material world, does not see anything but Krishna anywhere and everywhere. This is the sign of a mahabhagavata. The mahabhagavata sees Krishna everywhere because of his attitude of pure love for Krishna. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaha Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyama Sundara, situated within the heart of the devotee. An exalted devotee or Mahatma, who is rarely to be seen, remains fully conscious of Krishna and constantly sees the Lord within the core of his heart. It is sometimes said that when one is influenced by evil stars like Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, he cannot make advancement in any prospective activity. In just the opposite way, Prahlada Maharaja is influenced by Krishna, the supreme planet. Thus he could not think of the material world and live without Krishna consciousness. This is the sign of a mahabhagavata. Even if one is an enemy of Krishna, a mahabhagavata sees him to be also engaged in Krishna's service. Another crude example is that everything appears yellow to the jaundiced eye. Similarly, to a mahabhagavata, everyone but himself appears to be engaged in Krishna's service. Prahlada Maharaj is the approved mahabhagavata, the supreme devotee. In the previous verse, it was stated that he had natural attachment. Naisargaki ratihi. The symptoms of such natural attachment with Krishna are described in this verse. Although Prahlada Maharaj was only a boy, he had no interest in playing. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:2-42, Viraktir anyatra cha. The symptom of perfect consciousness, Krishna consciousness, is that one loses interest in all material activities. For a small boy to give up playing is impossible, but Prahlada Maharaj, being situated in first-class devotional service, was always absorbed in a trance of Krishna consciousness. Just as a materialistic person is always absorbed in thoughts of material gain, a mahabhagavata like Prahlada Maharaj is always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Om Ajnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishnan Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakatamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Shatarane Vanchakalpatarubhasha Kripisundubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurudvishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratao Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Mat Sarvasva Padambojal Shri Radha Marana Mohanao Divyad Vrindaranya Kopal Drumada Srimad Ratnagada Simhasana Stal Srimad Radhashida Govinda Devyao Prishtalabi Sevya Manos Marami Shriman Rasa Rasa Rambi Vamsivata Tathastitaha Karshan Venus Vaner Gopir Gopinata Shriestanaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is a very important description of the qualities of a mahabhagavat devotee. So one should know what the qualities of such devotees are, so that one can recognize such persons in order to take advantage of their association, and also in order to recognize who are not such mahabhagavat devotees. So to begin with, who are not the Mahabhagavat devotees. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, people used to say sometimes that, yes, I've come for darshan, I've seen Krishna. And then Saraswati Thakur would say, but did you also see Maya too? Because if you saw Maya, then you didn't really see Krishna, because if you're such a mahabhagavata that you can see Krishna, then you can't see anything but Krishna. Right? So, the Mahabhagavat is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as Sarva Bhuti Shuya Pashyad Bhagavat Bhavamatmanaha Bhutani Bhagavat Yatman Yesha Bhagavatottamaha. So, Sarvabhuteshu yapashyed. So, sarvabhuteshu, in all living entities, Bhagavad Bhavamatmanaha. So one sees the Bhagavad Bhava in Sarvabhuteshu, in all these living entities. So he sees the principle, he sees Krishna in everybody, in everything. So when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlada Maharaj, who we're talking about, who's being spoken of specifically in this shloka, where's your Nrsinga, where's your Vishnu, where's your Lord Vishnu? Is he in this pillar? And Prahlada Maharaj truthfully told him, yes, he's in this pillar. And Prahlada Maharaj, he says, yes, he could say that because he's seeing, yes, he's actually in this pillar. Then Hiranyakashipu proceeded to try to demonstrate that he wasn't actually in the pillar, and he destroyed the pillar, but out came Nrsingadev. Because the devotee, the pure devotee of the Lord, just by love, the Lord was obliged to show that his devotees' words were true. So, Ishvaranam vachaha satyam. So, the words of the great Ishvaras, or those who are empowered servants of the Lord, are always true. Ishvaranam vachaha satyam tataiva charitam kvachit. But not necessarily always their activities. Just like Lord Shiva, he drank an ocean of poison, but the injunction is actually you shouldn't drink poison. You should not do that. You cannot imitate, but their words are always true. So Prahlada Maharaj said, yes, they're true, and so the Lord came out of the pillar. So one of the symptoms that's given here is that although Prahlada Maharaj was a young boy of like 5 years age, he was not interested in childish behavior, like playing and childish things and so forth. He's not interested in those. He didn't need the newest toy. He didn't need an Xbox. 5-year-olds can play Xbox, right? They can play these games. I think so. He didn't need any of those things. So, Prabhupada, he mentions in their purport that such devotees are rarely seen. They are rarely seen. This is one of the symptoms of pure devotion, actually, is that it's very rare. So it's rarely seen. So, because of its rarity, and because it's something transcendental, ordinary people cannot understand it. Just like, for example, if such a person were to appear in our midst, can you imagine it? Some devotee family and the kid is, he's going to school. He's going to the government school or something like that, and he's not interested in playing. So then the school nurse sends a note home that we think there's maybe something wrong with your boy. And then they're going to send him to a psychiatrist or something, and the psychiatrist is going to examine him and say, yes, there's something wrong with your boy. This is not normal for his age. So we're going to juice him up and put drugs in his body, and give him electric shocks to his brain so that he will give up his indifference to matter and start playing with things again. They actually used to do that to our devotees in Soviet Union, in Russia, before the Soviet Union fell. They'd actually take our devotees and they'd juice them up, give them drugs, give them electroshock therapy, torture them like this. So Krishna, he doesn't allow these things to happen to his devotees, which is maybe why it's difficult even we don't see such devotees appearing so frequently even in our midst. But this is the symptoms of a mahabhagavata, someone who sees the principle of, who sees Krishna in all living entities. Bhutani bhagavatyatman yesha bhagavatottamaha. So Bhutani bhagavati atma. Haribo? I hope that wasn't, nobody got hurt. So the living entities are also situated in the Lord. So Bhutani. Is everything okay? Okay. Yeah. So the living entities are also situated in the Lord. So such a person, he sees Krishna everywhere. He cannot help but see Krishna everywhere. And so because he sees Krishna everywhere, Maya cannot touch him. So wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. So someone who's fully enlightened, he cannot be touched by the darkness of Maya. So some more examples of such a devotee. That Prahlada Maharaj, he goes to school, the Gurukul run by the sons of Shukracharya, Sandan and Marka, and they did the same thing I just described. You know, this kid is not normal. He's just not into studies. He's not going to be a topper, so forth. The son of Hiranyakashipu should be a topper, but our son he's not going to be a topper. And not only is he not a topper, but he's a bad influence on the other children in the school. He is making them devotees of Vishnu, who is the eternal enemy, who is the enemy of the family of Hiranyakashipu. So another symptom there is that such a devotee has an influence on others, that merely by his association he makes other people devotees. Another symptom of such a mahabhagavata, who is Prahlada Maharaja's Gurudev? That's Narada Muni, yes. Narada Muni is his Gurudev. So Narada Muni is also a mahabhagavata. So when Hiranyakashipu was performing austerities to get a boon of immortality, to get the vardhana of Amrit, to get immortal. So the devatas, headed by Indra, decided that this is a good time to attack the asuras. That because their leader, Hiranyakashipu, is away, they are weak. So they attacked, and they captured the home of Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadu, was pregnant with Prahlada Maharaj. And so Indra was going to take Kayadu away, and then as soon as her son was born, they would kill him. Because he's the seed of Hiranyakashipu, after all. That if you want to wipe out Hiranyakashipu, you wipe out everything. So you don't just get the top of the tree, but you have to uproot it. So, but Narada Muni appeared on the scene and said, "My dear Lord Indra, this child in the womb is actually a great devotee of Vishnu. Even you, as powerful as you are, cannot harm this child, even if you wanted to. So give her up, and I will take her to my ashram and take care of her." So Narada Muni is who? He's a brahmachari. He's not a sannyasi. Brahmacharya must not associate with women. But because he's also a mahabhagavata, He could keep her at his ashram, and there was no fault, and there was no adharma that came from this. Just like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada actually had to show his earliest female disciples how to put on a sari. He'd actually take the sari and put it on himself in front of his female disciples to show them how to wear a sari. Prabhupada could do that. We cannot. So, therefore, so tavan karmani kurvita, tavan karmani kurvita, then na nirvidyeta, na nirvidyet yavata. Then mat katha shavanado va shraddha yavan. Shraddha yavan. Yeah. Shraddha yavan. Najayate. Shraddha yavan najayate. That as long as one is not, as long as one is still, has some material affinity, as long as one is still absorbed, his consciousness is still absorbed in matter, even the slightest amount, and as long as one has not fully awakened his attachment to hearing about Krishna Katha and faith in Krishna, then karmani kurvita, he must perform his prescribed duties. So karmani means duties, and kurvita, this is the vidilin form of kurmaha, kuroti. That means you must do. It's a vidi, means it's something you have to do. So this is not us. We cannot act like that. And if we try to act like that, then we fall down. So this is a very important thing. Prabhupada came among us, and he did so many things. Some things we can follow. Other things we cannot follow. How do we know the difference? We know the difference by knowing the Shastra Vidi. Ya Shastra Vidamutraja Vartate Kamakarataha Sasidam Na Sasidam Avapnoti Na Sukamna Pradam Gatim. That you cannot, that you have to follow the Shastras. And if you don't, then you cannot attain the supreme destination, you cannot achieve perfection, and so forth like that. And so just as we said, in Bhagavatam it is also said, Ishvaranam vachaha satyam. That you cannot, that the words of the Lord's empowered servants, of the Ishvaranam, actually Ishvaranam also includes Krishna too, right? Krishna is also Ishvara. So Ishvaranam vachaha satyam tataiva charitam kvachit. So, but their words, their actions, only sometimes you can follow. Kvachit. So you have to, so therefore Srila Prabhupada, when he started this Krishna consciousness movement, just like this Bhagavatam class, from the very beginning of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada had us recite the shlokas in the morning. And yet none of his disciples knew any Sanskrit. So what was the worth? Well, this is Srila Prabhupada showing by example how we're supposed to conduct our lives. That the Shastra is the center. It says, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chitte Kariya Aikya. And Prabhupada comments in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 20, text 352. He says, the Shastra is the center for all. So the Shastra. So sometimes we can quote Prabhupada. We can say Prabhupada did this. We can say that Prabhupada did a certain thing. But how do you know that this is something of Prabhupada's that you should follow and something you should not imitate? That will be given by the Shastra. So, some other signs. Who else is a pure devotee? Sri Ramananda Rai. So one time a devotee was sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give questions, to hear from Ramananda Rai. And this devotee went. And he saw him, and he saw the Ramananda Rai. He was massaging the bodies of the Devi Dasis, those who are dancing for the pleasure of Jagannath. And he was massaging them, their bodies, with his own hands, giving them oil. Yet at the same time, he could see that there was no lust that was coming in the body, that was being manifest in the body of Ramananda Rai. This is a very wonderful thing. So he came back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, he told him what he saw, that yes, I sometimes send my followers to my great devotees to see their glories. So he was a mahabhagavata. Ramananda Rai had no lust absolutely within his body. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu affirmed that he is unique. Nobody can do what he can do. Whereas on the other hand, we have the pastime, the story of Chota Haridas. So Chota Haridas was a sannyasi and a personal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to sing wonderfully for him. He was in the sannyas order. He had great love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But one time, when Bhagavanacharya, he was another intimate associate of the Lord, was cooking something for the Lord, he sent Chota Haridas to go beg for some rice that he could cook. So he went to Madhavi. He was also one of the half-intimate associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he went to beg some rice, and even though Madhavi, she was a very, very elderly lady, Chota Haridas, although a sannyasi, very in his heart, a little tinge of lust arose. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Paramatma, also the Paramatma could understand immediately what happened. And so, after Bhagavan Acharya cooked the meal for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it was given to him, and he took the prasadam and he relished it, he told his servant Govinda, he said, Chota Haridas is not to come in my presence ever again. So when this was understood, when this happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, that this, for sannyasi, that this is inappropriate. A sannyasi can't even be. He can't even have thoughts of lust in his head. And so he banned him. And then for a full year, he was not allowed within Mahaprabhu's presence. Then one day Mahaprabhu called for him, but Mahaprabhu had already known that Chota Haridas had gone to Prayag, and he drowned himself in the Triveni to atone for his transgression as a sannyasi. And then it was revealed that Chota Haridas, after relinquishing his material body, came again once before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a celestial body and sang before him. And the devotees also heard this, and they asked what happened, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that for a sannyasi, that Chota Haridas had given up his body, the news had come, and that for a sannyasi to engage, to have lusty desires, it is better to give up one's body. So from this incident, all the devotees understood. They stopped thinking of women, even in their dreams, it is said. They stopped thinking. For if one makes even the slightest mistake, one will not be able to get Krishna. One will not be able to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So this is a very important thing, and in our society, unfortunately, it's still a very much neglected thing. We tend to underemphasize this, but it cannot be overemphasized ever. Brahmacharis especially, but the grihastas also should wake up every day and remember this incident and never forget it. We should strictly follow this principle. Men and women should not talk with each other unless absolutely necessary. Even you're a grihasta, just because you're married does not mean also you cannot fall down. So what to speak of the brahmacharis and sannyasis? I remember when I was young in Krishna consciousness that we followed this principle actually quite strictly. Women didn't talk to men. Men didn't talk to women. And although sometimes we are criticized as fanatics, the alternative is we get criticized as sahajias and cheaters. So I'd rather be called a fanatic than a cheater. Don't you think? I think so. Certainly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's his opinion. So some other pure devotees. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi is very special because he actually used to dress as a materialist so that no one would used to dress and sometimes even act as a materialist so that no one would suspect that he's a great devotee of Krishna. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he used to smoke a hookah, and he used to be fanned by his servants as if he were some great enjoyer. So Gadadhar Pandit, he once saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi and he saw, how can this be a great devotee? So he committed an offense. Then I think it was Swarup Damodar or somebody saying, some bhajans of Krishna, some words, some sweet songs in glorification of Krishna. And then Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he could not help but react. He was obviously, the sense enjoyment that he was allegedly experiencing was nothing for him. It was he could not but, but react. He shed tears. He had all the symptoms of a devotee experiencing great love of Krishna. Then from that, Gadadhar could understand, yes, this is a great devotee. I've committed an offense, therefore I should become his disciple. And he became the disciple of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So Srila Prabhupada, like Prahlada Maharaj, wherever he goes, he can make anybody a devotee. He's not affected by Maya. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he gave advice, he told people to be gurus, that one should accept, one should not be guru until one is fully liberated. Unless one is a mahabhagavata, one should not become a devotee. One cannot become a devotee, but one should not become a spiritual master. Because if a spiritual master falls down, or a sannyasi is supposed to be the guru of all varnas and ashrams. If a sannyasi falls down, then news spreads like wildfire. Such and such sannyasi fell down. So therefore, to make sure that such happens, society should be organized in such a way according to the Varnashram principles. So Srila Prabhupada in a lecture in Bhagavatam, he once said, what is the need? What are these regulative principles? What is the need of these regulative principles? The big plan behind these regulative principles, no illicit sex, is to loosen the influence of Maya, to loosen the influence of this sex attraction. That is why that is there. He said, otherwise, there's no need for varnashram. So those who think that we do not need varnashram, they're simply asking for trouble for themselves and trouble for everybody else. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Viraktir Anyatra Cha. The symptom of a perfect Krishna consciousness is that one loses interest in all material activities. So this is nice. So for a small boy to give up playing is impossible. So we should have that. So we should be scientific like this. We should understand that, who is the pure devotee, who is not the pure devotee in this way. So this is a very serious subject matter. We should know what are the symptoms of a pure devotee and the symptoms of people who are not pure devotees. And by this knowledge, we should act accordingly. So I'd like to stop here, and I would like to take some questions now. Rishi Kumar Prabhu in the back. Because we have this very, very loud fan, you're probably going to have to shout even in a microphone. Yeah. He was smoking. He was what? Oh, spittoon. It might be. It might be that detail. Okay, so he was imbibing some substance that a materialist likes to imbibe that devotees are forbidden to imbibe. We'll just say like that. Thank you, Prabhu. So, are there any other questions or comments about this verse about pure devotees? Otherwise, I will hand this over to Jita Mitra Prabhu, who will enlighten us further. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा। आवाज सही आ रही है? पंखा चलता रहे या पंखा बंद करें? पंखा बंद करना चाहिए या पंखा चलता रहे? आ रही है आवाज? बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। तो प्रभु जी ने बहुत अच्छा प्रवचन दिया और इस श्लोक को बहुत अच्छा समझाया। तो यहाँ पर बताया जा रहा है कि कृष्ण ग्रह गृहीत आत्मा न वेद जगत ईदृशम, कि प्रहलाद महाराज जो है इस जगत को इस प्रकार से नहीं देख पाए जैसा ये जगत है। वो जो है वास्तविकता नहीं देख पाते। तो प्रभुपाद समझाते हैं कि जो उत्तम अधिकारी भक्त होता है को ही भक्त समझता, अपने को भक्त नहीं समझता, ही भक्त समझता, अपने को भक्त नहीं समझता। वास्तविकता ऐसी नहीं है। वास्तविकता में तो वो सबसे बड़ा भक्त है, उत्तम अधिकारी भक्त है। अपने को उत्तम अधिकारी नहीं समझता है, बल्कि दूसरों को उत्तम अधिकारी समझता है। सब भक्त हैं और मैं भक्त नहीं हूँ। तो उत्तम अधिकारी तो प्रचार कैसे होगा? तो उत्तम अधिकारी भक्त प्रचार के लिए मध्यम अधिकारी के धरातल पर उतर आता है। जैसे प्रभुपाद उत्तम अधिकारी भक्त हैं, प्रचार के लिए मध्यम अधिकारी के धरातल पर उतर आए। तो मध्यम अधिकारी के धरातल पर उतर आए तो मध्यम अधिकारी के धरातल पर क्या होता है कि भगवान को जो है समझता है कि वो हमारे जो है प्रेम के पात्र हैं, भगवान से प्रेम करेगा है, और भगवान के जो भक्त हैं उनकी संगति करेगा, उनसे मित्रता करेगा। और जो अज्ञानी है, जिनको कुछ पता नहीं है, उनको पर कृपा करेगा, तो उनके ऊपर उनको जो है भक्त बनाएगा। और जो ईर्ष्यालु है उनसे दूरी बनाता है। तो मध्यम अधिकारी भक्त ऐसा होता है। प्रहलाद जी जो है उत्तम अधिकारी भक्त हैं, इस कारण से वे जो है वो जो है जगत को इस प्रकार से नहीं देख पाते हैं। प्रभुपाद जी ने देखा जगत को, कैसे देखा? मध्यम अधिकारी के धरातल पर। और त्राणाय कारुण्य घना घनत्वम संसार दावा नली ढलो का, कि संसार जो है संसार की दावाग्नि में, संसार रूपी जंगल है, इसमें दावाग्नि लगी हुई है और संसार के जीव हैं वे जल रहे हैं इस दावानल में। और त्राणाय कारुण्य घना घनत्वम, तो वो जो है करुणा से जो है प्रेरित होकर के प्रभुपाद जो है विदेशों में गए, सब जगह गए, उनको भक्त बनाया, प्रचार किया। तो ये अंतर है। प्रभुपाद भी उत्तम अधिकारी हैं, प्रहलाद महाराज भी उत्तम अधिकारी हैं, लेकिन प्रभुपाद जो है उत्तम अधिकारी से उतर करके मध्यम अधिकारी के धरातल पर आए, तो वो जो है वास्तविकता देखते हैं जगत में। और प्रहलाद महाराज वास्तविकता नहीं देख पाते, उत्तम अधिकारी के धरातल पर वास्तविकता नहीं देख पाते हैं। प्रभुपाद वास्तविकता देखते हैं। क्या वास्तविकता देखते हैं? कि जितने जीव हैं संसार के, ये संसार के जंगल में 3 प्रकार की जो ताप है उसमें जो है जल रहे हैं, है ना। और जो भगवान है वो जो है एकमात्र रक्षा करने वाले हैं। तो इन जीवों को अगर मैं भगवान से जोड़ दूं, भगवान का संदेश दूं, तो इनकी रक्षा होगी। तो ये जो है 4 प्रकार के जो अंतर हैं, ये मध्यम अधिकारी देखता है, लेकिन उत्तम अधिकारी नहीं देखता है। तो यहाँ पर ये बताया गया है कि प्रहलाद महाराज जो है कृष्ण ग्रह ग्रहित आत्मा, वो कृष्ण के प्रेम में इतने जो है वो मतलब मत वाले हैं, पागल हैं। तो ये भक्त का पागलपन है, कृष्ण के लिए पागल, कृष्ण ग्रह ग्रहित आत्मा तो पागल हैं। तो इस पागलपन में जो है वे जो है संसार की वास्तविकता को नहीं देख पा रहे हैं। न वेद जगदी दर्शन। हरे कृष्णा। धन्यवाद। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।